The following is brought to you in part by Patrick McLaughlin of Douglas Elliman Real Estate.
Like a relaxing drive down 27 East on this Friday before Memorial Day, but 7 hours shorter, this is AirHamptons with Bridget and Bill.
Here we are, our very first show.
It's trying to be. I'm Bill McCuddy, joined by
Bridget LeRoy here on the second mic.
Who got her name first in the title. How did that happen?
Well, I don't know. I think I just said, it's with Bridget and Bill, and I scared you so much. You were like, fine, just get away from me, crazy lady.
It'll all come out in the trial. Okay, so listen, we are thrilled to have you here today. We are a new show on a couple of different platforms, and we are premiering in November. And
yes.
we're going to talk about what we're thankful for.
Yes, it's a monthly show. This is a monthly show.
So right up front,
with the tides.
We're very thankful for that.
Well, tides aren't monthly, though they are daily, and they're many times a day, so I have no idea what I'm talking about.
These are prayers answered for us.
Things we're thankful for. What are you thankful for? Bill, do you want to kick it off?
I guess McCuddy? Family. Hi. We're going to, before we do that, I want to tell people that we have some incredible guests today.
Oh, we do. We have so many.
Let me explain one thing about Bridget. I don't know exactly how, and it would take too long to explain, and we only have an hour, but in some way, she is related to everyone who's ever lived or worked in Hollywood.
I want people to know, if they're listening to this on the radio, we do have a name drop jar, which I am going to be dropping coins into instead of a swear jar when I drop names, and it's unintentional. I just happen to be related to everyone.
So without the entire resume or family tree, we are joined today by a dame. And there's nothing like a dame.
There's nothing like a dame, especially when it's Dame Julie Andrews, who's going to be talking about what she's thankful for, along with her daughter and co-author, Emma Walton-Hamilton, who happens to be, okay, I'm putting it in, my stepsister. Okay, there you go.
I'm telling you, forget Kevin Bacon. There's like 2 degrees between this woman and anyone else in Hollywood.
And we have Bill McCuddy, that I will call McCudley very often on this show. It doesn't mean I actually cuddle him. He's
Note to Mrs. McCuddy, that's a professional name.
It is a professional name, McCudley. And you are like a Friars Roast comedian, not excommunicated.
Well, I have been, yeah.
On many different shows. You're a writer. You are known as like the host with the most.
Well,
you host everything.
I can only disappoint then.
Yes,
but we're hosting this together because
we are.
We've known each other from
a year. We've known each other for a year. We hardly know each other at all.
And we've been doing this show for almost 40 seconds, and it really feels
it feels like 40 minutes.
Uncomfortable. No, it feels great.
So uncomfortable. Anyway,
we're talking about Thanksgiving. We're talking about what we're thankful for.
Yeah.
We have Tom Clavin.
We do. We have Tom Clavin. We have our house band Jim Turner, who's going to come on and talk to us. Yes,
there he is.
Thank you,
He's
Jim.
Mr. Transition.
Okay.
And Patrick McLaughlin has a blog out here, a vlog actually, called Hamptons Chatter.
That's right. And we have your friend and mine, Ms. Jean Shafiroff, talking about
the First Lady of Philanthropy. Yes. She is 700 gowns and counting.
Yes. And, 700 harmonicas coming up with Jim Turner. So we've got 700 is the number. I'm going to play that number tonight. But we do have coming up Julie and Emma toward the end of the show, just really quickly talking about what they're grateful for. But I do want to mention that Emma has this new poetry book. It's her first book of poetry. She's already won the prestigious Bridport Prize for it.
It's called Door to Door.
Door to Door. And it's wonderful. It's a lovely book. And Julie...
Do people still buy books about poetry?
Yeah, well, no, this book, yes. It's really amazing.
Right.
And she's...
You're not just saying that because she's in the family.
Well, no, I'm not. I mean, it's really an incredible book. And I'm just so impressed that, yes, that books of poetry do still sell. And also, Julie and Emma have another new book out. They've written over 30 together. This one, the first notes, is about Do Re Mi and how it came to be. Of course, Julie being...
What are the odds Julie Andrews would be tied to that book?
But it has nothing to do with deer or pieces of toast and jam or
whatever.
I
was looking at the book before the show, and it really... The origin of Do Re Mi is not what we hear in that song.
No, it's this incredible... No, it was just, but you have to imagine that before this, it was chaos, Bill. Right. Chaos in the music biz. I mean, if you had a song like Happy Birthday to You, or I shouldn't sing that because we probably don't have the rights, but if you had a song,
pay for that anymore.
It had to be passed down just vocally. There was no way of measuring music. So, if someone was a little out of tune or whatever, it's like the game of operator. I mean, after 100 years, it probably didn't sound anything like what it was originally.
Is that anything like the game Operation, where you have to put the little thing?
Oh, yes, like basket of butterflies or whatever.
Speaking of no. I am thankful that my family is going to be together this Thanksgiving. According to a new survey, 40% of Americans will travel this year, as opposed to perhaps last year when COVID kept everybody, or most people, away from their their homesteads. You're not. You're
well, I saw COVID, and I no disrespect to any of the many people that I've lost during this time, but I just saw it as like a golden opportunity to travel anywhere I wanted. So I masked up, I vaccinated up, and I got on planes. I went to Costa Rica 9 times during the last 2 years because the flights were so cheap. They were desperate to have people, and I felt like I was doing my part for tourism and the tourist economy.
Well, people will get back together this year, and as comedian Andy Borowitz said here, I found this. He said, "For those of you who cannot be with family this Thanksgiving, please resist the urge to brag."
Yeah, and I've heard like people say like Thanksgiving and Christmas are too close together. Like to see those same people like 2 times in 6 weeks, it's ridiculous.
We're traveling again. The travel restrictions aren't as great. My wife and I are just back from Riverhead, and no, I'm kidding.
Well, listen,
I'm kidding. We only got to Flanders.
The canal, it's hard. We only got to Flanders.
We were in that duck for 3 hours.
We saw the duck. We love the duck.
It's endless.
It is.
And now, my daughter Lily is now in college, but when she was little, she watched Ina Garten and watched all of those YouTube shows and those food shows.
And Ina has a store. Well, used to have a store right here in the middle of town.
By the way, Ina Garten says Thanksgiving is really just cooking a big chicken.
She's right.
Well, those are her words.
But I mean, if you're not a vegan.
So when Lily was 5, she helped her mother cook, and we had a delicious, thanks to Ina, with a little twist from Lily, we had an oyster stuffing with crayons.
With crayons. And
that was
very colorful.
Colorful and delicious.
It could have been for like Pride Month. You could have served it as well.
This is your Prairie second home companion, AirHamptons with Bridget and Bill, and we are thrilled that you are joining us today on this inaugural. We haven't been canceled yet. What is it?
Not
5
yet.
We'll
have to ask.
We'll have someone important calling in later in the show. And
I hope so.
We'll ask whether we're still on the air. But as far as is this thing on? So far, so good. I am thrilled to be sitting next to you.
I'm thrilled to be sitting next to you. You're such a nice guy, and I'm so glad that we. Okay, no, I know the day is still young, Bridget. But I wanted to tell you a little bit of what I was thankful for because it was actually kind of hard for me to come up with because my life is excellent. Everything is excellent, but I do suffer. I hate the word suffer, but I get seasonal affective disorder. So I've been like tremendously depressed, and it's Mental Health Awareness Month. I did not know that. Someone just told me that. And I wanted to put it out there that I do get really depressed. And so what I did was I decided to lean into it. So I started watching really depressing movies. I read a book called Gory Details, and I learned this fast. I am grateful that I can still learn new facts. I learned that, when people say like they die alone and they get eaten by their pets, the pets aren't actually eating them. They are trying to wake them up, and they get more and more aggressive about it and eventually bite their faces off.
Oh my, that's a thing?
It is a thing.
That's been proven as what is going on in a pet's mind when it's trying to
because there's still food in the bowl. There's still food in the bowl. So the idea is that the pet will start licking you, and then they'll get really nervous. Like I have a dog, and I've made eye contact with this. I'm like, oh, that's the dog that's going to eat my face because he's very, very anxious. So he would just start nibbling at me, and then he'd get the taste for blood, and he'd start. I've gone down a rabbit hole.
My co-host is Wednesday Addams. So I've really, this has taken a slightly dark turn.
Thank you for playing me off, Jim. I appreciate that. But I am grateful. I'm so grateful that I know that this too shall pass. It's just it's a seasonal effect.
Do you do the sunlight? The artificial light you sit in front of?
These big lights?
Yeah, the big fluorescent tube thing?
I have one, but what I really use it for is just putting it on my face when I'm on Zoom because it gets rid of all the wrinkles. So that's the only time I use it. But it's useful for that. It's
Well,
very,
if Bridget
I
LeRoy
recommend
is ever unhappy, I haven't seen it. I've known you for like a year now, and I've always enjoyed our conversations, and we are going to continue to enjoy our conversations on this show, and that's what it's about. It's about the East End. It's about music. It's about poetry. Apparently, people still write those books.
Yeah,
And
they do.
it's about
movies. We're talking about seasons,
Right.
and it's all about the East End.
and it sort of celebrates it in that way, in kind of a prairie second home companion kind of a way.
I don't know
I'm no
if you're-
Garrison Keillor, but
That's a good thing, I think. But I don't know if you're actually allowed to say that. I guess we're going to find out if we get slapped with a bunch of lawsuits.
by the way, Barry
you
Stinson
said
on
you said
How I
Gar-
Met Your Mother, and I said Barry Stinson.
Okay, I'm sorry,
I like
another
this.
one in
I
the
think you'll
name
like this.
drop
This
jar.
is a drink called the Thanks Teeny. It's cranberry juice, potato vodka, which we have out here in the Hamptons, and a bouillon cube. It tastes just like turkey dinner.
Yeah, but that's one of the great episodes of television. You have to watch that
Really?
episode. Oh my gosh, it is such
How
a great.
I Met Your Mother was not on the McCuddy. I was a Larry Sanders guy that week.
Oh,
I
with Larry
guess.
Sanders is fantastic and has one of the best theme songs ever. Turning it over to Jim Turner, this is the theme for Gary's show.
Yeah.
Right? The opening theme for Gary's show.
We don't have the rights to that.
No, we do not, but I'm just
But Jim
quoting
will
it.
come up with something. Listen,
Something
we are
else.
thrilled you are here. There's a lot more show, and we'll be back with it just after this. Bridget, you know, on NPR and all the other classy stations, they have this sort of music that happens in between segments.
Yes, I know.
That's him.
Who? Oh, that's what separates us from every other show out here is that we have a house band of one person, Jim Turner. Welcome, Jim.
Thank
Jim.
you. Great to be here, folks.
Yeah, we're
So this is our premiere episode, and we obviously need music. You've been doing a great job throughout the show, and we'll continue to do that. But we need a theme song. We need something. Let's sort of spitball here. What could we do with
AirHamptons with
what could we do
Bridget
with
and
AirHamptons
Bill.
with Bridget and Bill.
Well, we can play some.
laughing.
You mean a theme song for AirHamptons with Bridget and Bill?
Yes.
Yeah, or that. Yeah.
I mean, I know we're not. It's not like we're just throwing this at you.
yeah.
which
No,
we
it's
are.
not like.
Well, you know, when you asked me to be here and there was going to be a theme of thanks, I came up with a few ideas for that.
Yes.
Oh, good.
But as far as a separate song that would represent, your theme song, I've got about 1,000 off the top of my head. Why don't you pick one?
He's vamping. Can you
Wait.
tell he's vamping while he thinks of something?
No, he's calling his agent. Is what
Oh,
he's
okay,
doing.
okay.
They want a theme song now. This is going to be more. All right. What are we thankful for?
Or a theme song.
Rock and roll is one thing, and
Hell yeah.
thankful. Well, I could cut into the theme of your program, but there's some things about thankful for living out here, and at some point in here I have an original song that expresses the gratitude and enjoyment of this area, and I'll do that at your request. You tell me how long to do it, because I want to keep this thing in a collage.
We
the show's
will
only an
gong
hour.
you. We will shut you down.
yeah, just say
We'll-
thank you.
No. Does this have a title?
Living in the country.
Beautiful. Let's hear it.
Let's
Hey,
hear it.
hey, can I play harmonica on this?
You can do whatever you want.
Are
This
you
is-
asking us?
Yeah.
This is our house
This is my
band.
standard jokes that I say, especially at kids' parties. So, hey, can I play harmonica with a sincere? And they say, yeah, you can. They just mean very sincerely, you know.
Jim is opening his box.
And then you go, no, I can't play that.
I can't. Right. Practice.
Funny, I couldn't play it before.
Well, you remind me, wasn't it Bacall who said that thing about you just put your lips and blow? Is that
It was
right.
Bacall.
That's
That's
Hornball.
right.
You know, the harmonica, I teach harmonica workshops. And really all you do is we call it blow out and draw in and then go back and forth. I mean,
Wait, back up. That's a thing? You teach
Blow out
harmonica?
and draw
Well, I
in.
got a lot of things that I do, and one of them is I'm an authorized arts and ed presenter in schools all over Suffolk County, and I've been the music teacher for the week there, and I bring in 700 harmonicas and do each class for 45 minutes and teach these kids how to play harmonica. It's much more than that. It's just using the harmonica as an instrument to facilitate musicianship. It's not about really playing harmonica.
Wait. Can you imagine hearing 700 harmonicas playing at the same
Well, no,
time?
it's each class.
I'm pretty
you know,
sure that's
25 at a time.
I don't care. I'm thinking about the 700. I mean, good for you, but I'm thinking.
I
That's
love
one.
it. 700 harmonicas.
700
sitting in.
harmonicas.
I could actually do that. You use a loop station and just
Even
put 'em all
Phil
in.
Spector didn't hear anything about the wall of 700 harmonicas.
That's what he would do.
That wall is too high.
Sounds like a song, really.
Let's tear down that wall. Jim Turner, our house band, is going to sing a song for us
Cut me
about.
off when you want it. Now, here's a little tune.
I just have.
We're good at that.
I'm come from New York, and I, spent all my time learning how to do stuff in there, and theater and music, and then I came out here and fell in love with nature. I think I've talked too long.
Yes, you have. Play us a song.
Jim Turner.
Now, here's a little tune about living in the country. I might ask you to join in the chorus if you don't mind. You don't have to sing, you just talk.
You can do that.
Check this out. Ocean breeze blowing through my door. I ain't going back to that big black city no more. Living in the country. Living in the country. Living in the country. We seldom cross the line. Check this out. I had a little trouble when I was back out on the street. Got busted and ripped off and messed up and beat. Some people down there, they don't treat you so kind. Yeah, living in the country, we seldom cross the line. Give me a little harpoon here.
What's to do? Just humor him. He's our house band. Good job, Jim.
Boy, the popcorn's really shaking.
I'm thirsty for moonshine.
Big black smokestacks trying to catch up to me. I'm going out on the ocean where the sky meets the sea and where the breeze is blowing through the pine. I wrote this song. Living in the country and we seldom cross the line. You got one chance for a refrain. You don't got to sing, just talk it when I go. Living in the country. Sing it.
Living in the country.
Living in the country. Living in the country.
In the country.
Ooh.
Wow, we're
Watch
backup
out, you don't
singers.
knock into that cow, y'all. Seldom cross the line. I'm gonna go swimming this afternoon.
Wow,
Hey,
Jim Turner.
Jim Turner Band, who
We've
is
got him.
just Jim Turner. He's the band. He's our house band.
Every other show wants him. We've got him.
We got him. We got you, Jim.
Oh, take me, take me.
You're gonna hear all about him. What are you thankful for this holiday season?
Well, I will continue with your theme and stick to the thing because I can really go all over the universe now that I'm hyperventilated. But I'm very.
No, you can just talk. We don't need another song about that.
Just
what are you
what are you
looking
thankful
forward
for?
I
to
will
on
talk.
this holiday?
Well, I do very much appreciate the beauty of nature out here in this very special place. I don't call it the Hamptons, I call it the East End, but I've been all around the world, and the beauty of the sunset and these things I am very appreciative of, and I gain enormous amount of strength from that. It's kind of like I think I've said too
Tonic.
much. Yeah, thank you.
Bonic tonic.
I got the bonnet tonic.
Okay, that's enough for now. Thank you so much, Jim. Go get in your corner.
Give us a little transition music. Up next is Jim Clavin. He's going to talk
No,
to us
Tom
about.
Clavin.
I'm sorry. Get 3, 2. Give us a little transition music. Up next is Tom Clavin. He's going to talk about holiday
Bridget.
movies.
Yeah, he is. All kinds of movies.
That's the drumstick.
It's a little
Clavin.
song right now. It's called Yo Bridget.
Oh, no.
Check my chord. Watch this.
Woo!
school.
Fancy.
That is Bridget. It's got a nice flourish.
Oh, thank you. Do I have a nice flourish? I sound like a
yes.
wine or something.
You and Tom Clavin wrote a book.
Yes,
we
we
will talk
did.
to him about that. Have you guys have written a couple?
We wrote a bunch of screenplays that never got. That's Jim Turner packing up his
husband.
stuff to go back into the corner where he belongs as our house band.
He'll probably bump a light on his
It's a
butt. No, he
nice,
didn't.
quiet. He has his cat-like reflexes going across the room there. Yeah, Tom Clavin and I a very long time ago, but I want to tease him about this when he's here.
Okay.
So we're gonna wait. So
he's
that's like,
kind of a vidiot savant. Would that be a?
he's a major cinephile, a vidiot savant.
was that-
Oh my gosh, we're going to call him that.
You like? Bridget, we are talking about giving back today.
Yes, we are.
And I lent you something last week, and I want it back right now. No,
Oh,
I'm kidding.
gosh.
This is the perfect guest for this. Jean Shafiroff is a friend here at this studio, but also has written a book called Successful Philanthropy, How to Make a Life by What You Give. She is the First Lady of Philanthropy, and she joins us now from New York. Jean, good morning.
Good morning, Bill. How are you all?
We're good, and it's November, and we're talking about the spirit of giving back, and we thought, who better than Jean Shafiroff?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Nobody better than you.
Why is it important to give back?
Well, first, there is tremendous need, and I believe, and I wrote about this in my book, Successful Philanthropy, How to Make a Life by What You Give, that those that have resources have a responsibility. But those that don't can give their time and knowledge. And through giving, we become fulfilled. And when you look around us and you see right now we're in the middle of a war, the Ukrainian war, and you see around us children living in or at or below poverty levels and so much suffering. Well, we have a responsibility, and we have it's a need. There's a great need, and we must do something. By giving, we achieve fulfillment. It's very rewarding. I know to me, if I am helpful, well, I feel good about it.
Jean, I wanted to ask you a question. What was the very first act of giving you remember as a child, that of something, or a teenager, before you became Jean of the gowns and the Jean that we all know and love today, who's so generous? What started you on that road?
Yes, well, I attended 12 years of Catholic school, and there the nuns taught all of us the importance of giving back. My father was a school teacher, and he would come home from work every day and talk about how important the future of his students were to him. And also, we were important to him too. My mother was involved in bake sales and different things through the church and through school. So I had very good role models. And I will add that although I went to Catholic school, I'm a Catholic, all religions teach the importance of giving back. And so I was surrounded by good role models, and it might have been a bake sale, the first thing that I was involved with, or it might have been back then they had penny drives where we would go to school and the nuns would collect pennies from us to give to underserved people. One of those things. And for the parents watching this show, because people often say to me, well, how do I get my children involved in the giving process? Well, if you want to get started very, very early, there are two things you do. First, you teach your children to share, and then you teach them to be kind. Sharing and kinding. Those are the very first two things that start anyone on their journey to become a philanthropist.
What
Wow.
a wonderful answer.
Yeah, you're one of the kindest people I know. I'm not sure what you're doing on this show. Thank you very much for joining us.
Jean, one more question, since it is November. What are you thankful for?
I'm grateful for a lot. I'm grateful that I live in this country, number one. Number two, that I've had a pretty good life. Of course, like everyone else, I've had tragedies and hard times, but I'm very grateful to be alive, to have my health, and to have my family, even though we're very dispersed, and to be in a position to be able to give back. And for those watching this show, I just want to say that almost everyone can become a philanthropist. You become a philanthropist by giving time, knowledge, and available resources. Never feel that you have nothing to offer, because we all have something to offer. Believe in who you are, and you can achieve, and you can become a philanthropist.
Yeah, we were talking about that at the top of the show, Gene, because that is one of your mantras, and I think it's a great one. It's one of the things in Successful Philanthropy, the book, but it's also something you always talk about, and I think people don't think about that. I think they drive by a collection box or they see something that they think they have to write a check for and don't realize they could go in, for example, on this Thanksgiving and help serve in a soup kitchen or do something, even if it's just an hour. It's something, and it's very self-fulfilling. Listen, we are so thrilled that you joined us today.
Gene
And
Shafiroff, thank you so much for joining us
the
today.
book is Successful Philanthropy, How to Make a Life by What You Give. She has a show on LTV also called Successful Philanthropy. And she serves on, what's the highest number right before infinity? She serves on that many charity boards.
Infinity plus one, I think it is. Anyway.
Gene, thank you, and have a lovely holiday.
Thank you, Gene.
Welcome back from a quaint, cozy homestead in a 20,000 square foot steel and concrete industrial building. This is AirHamptons with Bridget and Bill. I'm the Bill Part.
And I am the Bridget Part, and we have our house band, Jim Turner, who's going to be playing in our next section.
Well, this is exciting. This is the
What?
Hamptons Chatter. This is the Insider. This is and it's brought to you by Douglas Elliman, so we have a sponsor. That's pretty exciting.
We have a sponsor.
So
I actually have more than one sponsor, but that's a discussion for another day. Anyway.
For all of those reasons, Jim, can we get a little Hamptons Chatter music? Yeah, perfect. Okay, so
thanks, Jim. That's plenty.
Patrick McLaughlin, welcome to the big show.
The big show.
We are very thrilled to have you.
Thanks.
So excited to have you here today.
What a way to just like hang out with friends, guys.
I know.
Well, this is our
Coffee.
favorite segment. I'm
coffee.
lying. This is the first show, so we have no way of knowing. But
We're
glad
hoping
you're
it's
here.
going to be our
Can I
favorite.
drink? Can I continue to drink my coffee?
Yes,
Is it really
please do.
coffee?
It really is coffee.
Because we already had this with the band over there. It definitely looked like vodka. But you can't smell it, so I can't tell. It doesn't really matter. Anyway, Patrick, so glad you're on the
But he's
show.
eating a croissant with the vodka, so it's just like breakfast.
Exactly, totally.
So
It is.
your background is in television. You and I worked together a long time ago, and now you're in the
Good Lord.
Hamptons, and you run all of the real estate world out here.
Not anymore. No, yeah, right. I do. I'm the king. I'm the king. Everyone
king.
calls me the mayor or the king.
So I want to know
Anyway.
about COVID. I want to know about how everyone moved out here from the city. But first, I want to talk about Hamptons Chatter, because that's a website that you started how many years ago?
Oh my God, probably about 12 or 14 years ago.
Yeah, it was just about like when we moved back here. You were just like.
I was just, you know what, it's fun, and I've had a great time doing it, and it's always fun. Like when I've gotten picked up by, the New York Post. I've gotten picked up by. Sorry, yeah. I got picked up by the Daily News. I've got picked up by the biggest one I ever got picked up was by Curbed, because I broke that East Hampton Grill bought Della Femina.
Oh, I remember. That
And
That was big.
That was big.
That was you?
That was me. That was me. That was moi. But the worst part was, and I feel terrible about this, how this happened, but Jerry had not told his staff yet that the restaurant had been sold. Oh. And the ink hadn't even been dry.
Oh my goodness.
So it was like, everyone was like, how did this leak? And I'm not going to say how it leaked, but anyway.
Did it have to do with some quote unquote coffee like you're drinking right now?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
It was coffee. But anyway,
So you have a lot of what we would call unnamed sources.
Yes.
And a blog 12 years ago was not as common as it is now. That was
everyone's
like,
got one
it was,
now.
and about the Hamptons, were there people who did and then didn't want to talk to you?
Well, you know what's funny? My biggest problem is when I get busy at work. That's the blog suffers.
Right. That's the hobby part.
It's a hobby. So I wish I were a little bit more consistent with it and dedicated. But I've met people who said they've read it and I don't know who they are. So it's like sort of like, wow, cool.
You did?
Yeah.
Right.
Wow. Thank you. Let me give you $1.
Well, people who are listening and not watching will want to know how to get there. So it's Hamptons
It's
Chatter.
hamptonschatter.com.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom. Nice boom there.
Thank you.
With the boom.
Yeah.
So we were talking before during the break a little bit about Hampton's Monopoly. Tell me about this.
Well, haven't you seen it? They sell it everywhere
Yeah,
now.
I've seen
It's a
it at
customized.
Okay, guys. I live in Mauritius.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, but
likes a bragger.
no.
Funny.
I love your farm.
I know. Thank you. But yeah, so we don't have Hampton's Monopoly up
Do you
there.
hang out with Anna Wintour? And
No, she's far away from me. I'm like on the
Bridget,
verge
you
of
understand the
masking.
concept. It's the Monopoly game turned into the Hamptons.
Yes, Bill, thank you for mansplaining a game that I've played since I was 2. Thank you so much. But the thing, yes, Monopoly, but the Hamptons is the perfect place.
But, I can't recall what the parallels are between, what's the, boardwalk and what is the Baltic Avenue of the current board. But I thought it would be fun if they made like Meadow Lane or Gin Lane Baltic Avenue. Wouldn't that be hysterical?
But isn't that the cheapest
people,
place? That's the cheapest
that's
place.
the bad one.
Oh, I got it. Okay. Yeah, that
Little
was
real
bad.
estate joke.
A little real estate. A little real estate.
By the way,
humor
they
thrown
have
in.
free parking, but it's in Sag Harbor and it's $1,500.
There you go.
That's right.
So,
No, and then you do not go to jail. You have to wait. Instead of going to jail, you
don't
go to Nick and Tony's without a reservation.
Or you
that,
go-
that could be kind of funny.
Or you apply too late for a beach permit and you don't get one.
Do
you
not
go.
pass go. No beach permit for you.
Exactly.
and one
No beach
of
permit
the
for you.
chance cards is a get out of jail free card with Eddie.
Eddie Burke's
Eddie
number.
Burke. Eddie Burke on the back.
We're rewriting
And
Hamptons
none of us have
Monopoly.
even seen it. This
None
is
of us have
complete
seen it.
ignorance. We're just riffing off.
But
of it.
I will not riff. I will fully develop my thoughts and put them, pad to internet.
So what are you thankful for? That's the
Yeah,
big,
this
that's the
is
big
the
theme of
November-
this show.
Oh, thankful.
Yeah.
Yes.
God, you know what? I'm thankful we live here. How lucky are we? I'm like, Bill and I were both city people originally.
Me too.
Oh, and
Hello.
you too. Oh, that's duh.
Ja-
Oh, duh.
What city?
I was raised in the Dakota.
Yeah.
You schmuck.
Anyway. But
No one likes a bragger. And by the way,
Oh,
Dakota
gosh.
counts as name
Sorry.
dropping.
We have the name dropping jar.
So we're
Well,
putting
does
that
it
in.
count when it's a building? Okay.
Tell us who
fine.
lives there.
No.
John Lennon.
He was my next door neighbor.
Okay,
there you go. Fine.
I remember back when I worked in real estate in the city, Lauren Bacall used to live in the Dakota.
Betty Bacall.
Betty.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Back
Do
of
it
the
again.
jar.
Oh,
Anyway,
God,
but I remember-
broke.
You didn't bring enough change.
I didn't have a listing there, but I was helping one of the other brokers I used to work with because when you did an open house in the Dakota, no one was to be unescorted at any point.
Right.
So I would wait, and she would be up in the apartment. I would take the brokers and put them in the elevator and shut the door, and she would greet them there. And Lauren Bacall walked out as I was standing there one time, and all the doormen were like, she was not well liked in the building. Like all the doormen hated her. Then I ended up selling something at the Oliver Cromwell, which is a building across the street.
Right, across the street.
And the doormen, they all hated her there because they would be like, yeah, she thinks she lives in the building and asks us to help her all the time and stuff like that.
Oh, well,
I
she
thought it was kind of funny.
Well, Miss Betty was a true old-fashioned Hollywood
She was
star.
a diva, yeah. I mean, true in every sense of the word.
Yes.
I
so-
can't let this moment pass without asking you if you were living there, Bridget, during when Lennon was killed.
Yeah.
You were.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, I went between the Dakota and my mom was in the Apthorpe. But no, I mean, John and Yoko were really, really close. And if you listen to the song "Beautiful Boy" on the double fantasy,
yeah.
you can hear two little boys laughing at the end of that song, and it's Sean and my brother Max.
Oh, wow. How
They were
awesome.
very, very, very close.
What a
and
cool story.
and I was given a week off from school the week that
Wow.
John
Were
was
you
shot.
even able to get in and out of that building?
I
was
don't.
mobbed,
I
huh?
honestly don't even remember. We were all so.
You are the very definition of a city kid going from the Dakota to the Antwerp.
to the Apthorpe. I know.
Apthorpe,
That's, And but I was given a week off from school, and it was a very painful time. And Sean and I stay in touch. And I mean, it was a really horrible time.
Well,
Wow, this took a dark turn.
Well, but
but we're happy we live here in the Hamptons.
Yeah,
Like,
we're happy we live here in the Hamptons.
it pivots to the
exactly.
thankful thing about moving out
Well,
here.
I was lucky enough to be able to interview Sean a few years ago, and we did talk about my brother because they were very, very, very close. And Sean Lennon dedicated. I know I'll put something in the name dropping thing.
Well, no,
Jeez
once
Louise.
you've said the name,
I
you
know, but he dedicated his album "Friendly Fire" to my brother, who had, by that point had died.
Oh.
So, but they were childhood buddies forever and ever, and we do stay in touch. And it was just his birthday about a few weeks back.
Well,
Yeah.
look,
Anyway, I am here to be the dark portion. I suffer from
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, seriously,
No.
I suffer from terrible seasonal affective disorder. I was like, you know what, Bridge, just lean into it. Just like
well, wait. weren't you just someplace sunny, like very recently?
No, I was in Paris, like when we missed each other by moments.
By a day.
And I'll tell you something, I was really aware that it's norther than here, and the sun, I mean, these are real like first world problems.
Right.
The sun was low. I was so sad in Paris. Oh my goodness.
For the 11 people still listening,
But seriously, we were asking Patrick about what he was thankful for, and we went off on this crazy tangent with the Lennons.
That's what I love about this show.
Tangents
You
are
can't
good.
love anything about this show.
We've been doing this how long? Almost 20 minutes.
15, 20 minutes. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Tangents are good. It means it's fluid.
Well, it gets us
is.
to how so many people during COVID have moved from the city out here, and what kind of a burden that placed on. And when I say burden, it's not a horrible problem to be working all the time as real estate agents, but then everybody bought and everybody moved out here. And what's happened after that?
You know what? The Times had an article a few months ago how up in Westchester and the Adirondacks and the Catskills, people have bought, and the Berkshires and that whole area, and they had buyer's remorse. So people bought up there during COVID because they wanted, breathing room. They didn't want to be confined to like a building, where the elevator had one person in the elevator.
Right.
Anyway, we all know what happened during COVID. But a lot of those people said, you know what, we're not loving it here. And they started selling their houses. So I wouldn't say their inventory is flooded, but they have more inventory than we do.
Yeah.
I sold a couple of those COVID people houses out here, and all of them are staying.
Those COVID people.
Those COVID people.
COVID people.
That's a sitcom.
CP.
There was
They're CP.
Well, there was a really funny headline. I can't remember if it was in the New York Times Magazine or something that said like the rich people are resenting the even richer people who are coming out during COVID. Or, I mean, there's just all these different sectors now of the locals, and then there's the not locals. And
I want to hit on that in a second. But there's also a whole new thing with, certainly, the Monday through Friday 9 to 5 really doesn't exist for the most part anymore.
No, it's
so
not.
people are coming. I have friends who, work in banking and they have real jobs, and they come out on Wednesday nights and they're here Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and they go into the city for Monday, Tuesday, sometimes Wednesday, come out Wednesday night or Thursday night. But they didn't sell, and they didn't leave the Hamptons. And it is a strain, I think, somewhat out here.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me. They're still here.
Well, anyway, like you could go for any restaurant out here I went Tuesday night, last night, to a Highway restaurant. 4 years ago, you and I and your wife and I, we would walk in and we would be one of like 5 tables.
Right. If they were open on
a Tuesday night, it was packed.
Everything's packed, but isn't that good for business?
It's great for business. It's hard, I think, for the business because I don't think they have the staffing.
Yeah, I've heard that. I saw that Dawn Watson had put something up last month about the Macy's in Hampton Bays was looking for like 30 positions that needed to be filled. And all of these
30 positions at the Macy's. Have you ever been in the Macy's?
I know, they don't.
No one's in there.
I know. Well, I'd like to go into
I'm
Macy's.
headed to housewares.
But anyway,
I like that there's a career for me somewhere.
We had gotten off on another tangent, which should be the name of the show. But we were asking Patrick, what are you thankful for? There must be so much. Besides living here, which you already said.
A personal thing. My dog is doing great. My dog had surgery. I know.
Your dog had surgery.
He had a tumor removed, and it wasn't this horrific cancer they thought it was. So
you've always been a huge advocate for pets and animals.
Yeah,
and
both rescues. But I'm grateful for. I love this time of year in the Hamptons. I still, you can bike ride outside. You can walk on the beach. You can eat dinner outside, and the throngs of the summer invasion are not here.
Yeah.
It's still crowded, but it's not the frenetic, crazy where you want to shoot yourself.
Right.
You mentioned buyer's remorse up in the Adirondacks and other places. Are there people here who wished they hadn't bought during what I guess was a bubble? And has there been a market correction out here?
You know what? In terms of prices have not really come down. Interest rates have gone up a little bit, and they're going to continue to go up as far as we know. Right. I'm not a mortgage expert. I'm not a banking expert, but what I'm being told is they're going to continue to go up a little. People still want to be here.
Yeah.
And that and it's not also, it's for most people, it's not about what they pay for the house. It's what their monthly nut is into the house. So maybe
My monthly nut is a pecan.
my house, at our house, I am the monthly nut.
You are.
But
You're
didn't
the
a lot of people think they could rent their houses during the summer, and then so there was a glut of
There was a glut of rentals last
because this
season.
past year everybody for the first time could go somewhere, so they took
did.
off to
They went to-
Europe or they went.
Oh my
and
God.
and they thought they were going to rent their house out here, and they didn't.
Is it name dropping to say like you went on Facebook every week this summer and it was like so and so's in Greece,
Everybody was in Greece.
everyone was
Everybody was in Greece.
in either Italy or Greece.
I noticed that. I was like,
Like-
why Greece
Yeah.
suddenly?
Someone, oh my God, they're in Positano. Oh, they're in Positano. They're in Sorrento. Oh, they're in Mykonos. Oh no, they're in.
But meanwhile, their house back home is empty.
Is empty.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of people it was an inconvenience. It might have been a slight economic setback, but I don't think it's going to push most people into foreclosure out here.
Right. No,
you know, it's
probably
almost
not.
like interest rates. Like if you can, do I have to put money in the jar? If you can afford, for most people, if you can
I'm putting it in for you.
for most
Name
people,
dropping.
yeah, it's that we're in a pretty a unique space out here where you know the fluctuations in the economy don't impact us probably as much as they do in Iowa.
Yeah. No, we are very, very lucky to be out here, and we're very, very lucky to have you on as a guest, and
thanks.
to have Douglas
We
Elliman
love
and
yes,
Patrick McLaughlin and Hamptons Chatter. So give us a little taste of Hamptons Chatter. Like what is big? I mean, kind of this year, what has been maybe a focus of what people are chattering about?
You know what? A lot of people were talking about what didn't open.
What didn't?
What didn't open? For example, you know, St. Ambrose in East Hampton, where
that was going to happen?
That was supposed to happen. They still haven't opened.
Where?
St. Ambrose, they bought the old Babettes,
Right.
and it sat the entire summer empty. And Tutto Il Giorno
Yes, they're
opened
opening a
cafe in East Hampton. And I think it was just, I think the towns were still backlogged from COVID with, you know, health permits and things like that. That's what I've been told.
Well, but also Bridget made a good point about they can't get help out here.
Well, that's
so
the other
they
thing.
could probably so here it's like a domino thing. They can't get help to put up the new signs.
They can't get
help
construction to
construct
finish
the
it.
inside. They
Right.
can't get anybody to come and look at the kitchen to see if they're up to code, and then they have to go hire staff.
And then they can't get the appliances for the kitchen. I mean, it's a whole.
Well, it makes me feel more at home about because I also, have a house in Costa Rica, which I should probably put money in the jar because I'm going to mention that a lot.
Oh, that's where you were, someplace sunny.
Yeah,
Costa Rica.
but it's not always sunny right now. It's rainy season, but that kind of has. Everything takes a really long time in
Right.
Costa Rica. Pura vida, you just say, well, whatever. That's how it works. But now it's kind of like that out here too, which is we're all New Yorkers and we're edgy and we're
Right.
we want things done right away. But I have a little bit of history now of waiting. We have to wait for things.
So
now.
that was the big thing everyone was saying. And then also Carissa opened up in Sag Harbor, but they finally opened yesterday.
right.
But they had
So
been-
we're talking about late,
That was like
late
2
October.
like-
late
It's
October.
now November, and they're just getting open. That doesn't seem to make sense unless everyone still really is out here, which is
They are.
Yeah. Listen, thanks for coming on our first show. We want Hamptons Chatter, with your gracious permission, to be a part of this show going
I would love
forward.
to.
and
I
come
love you
on.
guys.
And
Yeah, I love
we
you
want to
too.
try out a couple of different slogans that some involve Douglas Elliman and some don't. So
do you have a
these are
list?
slogans that would be like for Hamptons Chatter.
Okay.
Here's
ready.
this is brought to you by Douglas Elliman, because by the end of this show you're going to want to move out of the area. Is that good? Okay. We are your Prairie second home companion.
I
this
love
is
that.
AirHamptons
Oh,
and
that's very home
Bill.
Second
second.
home companion.
The best of entertainment, news, local heroes, and music on the East End. This is AirHamptons with Bridget and Bill. Thanks for flying with us.
Ooh, I don't think we can say flying with
Yeah,
us.
probably
but
not. Okay, how about you? This one is good. She's smart, funny, and entertaining. He sits next to her. This is AirHamptons with Bridget and Bill. Probably her
I
favorite.
like that one, but I don't know who exactly you're talking
How
about.
about we could do Douglas Elliman, sell your house before we put a pole in your front yard? Bridget gets it. Did you see this? I was flying. I was on a plane yesterday and I landed, and then my phone blew up.
With memes?
Like blew up with pictures and memes. And apparently, in front of the Douglas Elliman office in Sag Harbor, I don't know who the driver was, but someone thought they were putting the car into park, and they put it into drive, and they hit a telephone pole, and it went in the front of the building.
And that's not
Oh,
the
I
fir-
didn't hear
And
about
that's not the
this.
first time
But you know what? I used to
in
think
Sag Harbor.
You guys need to move.
Yeah.
Or they need to move the pole.
I have a picture. I'll share it with you guys.
But I have to tell you, from living out here for 30 blah, blah years, it always seemed like the beginning of the season was when someone drove their car into Town Pond and almost hit the hedges in. Like, I was like, oh, the season has started. Like, that was the real start to the season.
It was a country squire
Yes.
way back when,
Yes,
and it became an SUV, a minivan,
Right,
and then
right.
it was an SUV.
Exactly.
Well, in
A
Sag
Woody at the
Harbor, I mean,
beginning.
just off the top of my head, I can think of 3 different stores that had cars driven through the front window. The hardware store, In-Home, and now us.
Right. Well, you're part of a very
The
exclusive.
side of Main Street.
Yes.
So
it's-
maybe
it's
you need to open a drive-in. Maybe
Here you
this
go,
is what
drive-in.
this is what you're being
drive-in
told.
real estate.
Maybe someone thought they were going to Apple Bank and they thought they had a drive-in and they just figured that.
It's very, very
Jim,
odd.
give us a little music to play out the New Hamptons chatter. Oh yeah, Patrick McLaughlin, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, kids.
It's like a hootenanny now.
Ooh, I always said Hampton Suit Nanny's my choice.
And we'll be right back. Hopefully, if we're not canceled. 50 minutes in and we're still on the air. We're as stunned as you are. This is AirHamptons with Bridget and Bill.
Yes, it is. And we have our next guest is Tom Clavin, who is a well-known author, but way before he was a well-known author, we wrote this book together,
You and he.
he and I.
Right. Called We're Not Normal.
Yes, and there's a very cute picture of us on the back, which I think the guys in production will be able to get there. There it is. Look at us. Oh my God. Anyway, Tom is here not to talk about his latest book, which is The Last Hill, that he co-wrote with Bob Drury. He's here to talk about movies. He's here to talk turkey about movies.
Holiday movies. And we've sort of dubbed you our Vidiot savant. Does that sound good? Is that better than cinephile, or you prefer cinephile?
I've been called worse. That's fine.
I like Vidiot Savant. So, Tom, tell us about some movies that are seasonal for this November.
Well, I wanted to try and rescue November from the dumpster of being disrespected by movie buffs. Halloween, zillions of movies. October.
Yeah.
December, 100 zillion movies about Christmas. Halloween. So I'm going to start highbrow. It's your first show.
All right.
Okay.
I don't want to put a nail in the coffin yet.
Right.
Start highbrow and go low. That's
This will be the first highbrow moment in the show.
Yes, so
Okay.
there you go.
But-
Good thing
Go
I'm
ahead.
here.
Yes, totally.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Oh,
Great movie.
Yeah.
Steve Martin trying to get home for Thanksgiving
John
despite John
Candy's.
Candy's efforts. You've Got Mail. So those people remember that movie. A pivotal scene happens on Thanksgiving between Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan.
That's right.
That's a beautiful movie. I really
And
love that.
if you like tears in your stuffing, there's One True Thing, in which Renee Zellweger is trying to hurry home to spend Thanksgiving with her dying mother, played by Meryl Streep.
I don't know that movie.
Yeah, that's a good one because it's kind of obscure.
Very esoteric.
Yeah, it's hard to see. And I also want to mention Pieces of April, which is
Right.
about the young woman of the title, who's played by
Katie Holmes.
Katie Holmes, a
Yeah.
very young Katie Holmes, is trying to prepare Thanksgiving dinner for her parents.
Pre-Tom Cruise,
Yeah.
all the craziness.
And it's written and directed by Peter Hedges, who some of you know lives in Montauk.
Oh, there you
Yeah.
go.
And
Good tie-in, Tom. I like
there you
that.
go. So there's the highbrow stuff.
Okay, highbrow,
We're
bring us
local
down.
and
We're-
lovable.
Yeah.
We're ready to go low with you now. What do you
This-
have?
this is
what do you have for
middlebrow.
us?
Okay.
Middlebrow.
Thanksgiving means turkeys, right?
Middlebrow.
Right.
Yes.
And turkeys is one of the worst things you can call a movie in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So to jump on that bandwagon, I'm just going to pick some of the 5 biggest turkeys Hollywood's produced, each of which has lost at least $100 million.
That's
All right.
It's like a weekend
If
in
we had a
Atlantic City.
drum, we would roll it right
Okay,
now.
Cleopatra.
Weekend in Atlantic City for McCuddy there. Anyway.
Cleopatra not
Sorry.
only lost a Fanto's ransom of money, bankrupted an entire studio, 20th Century Fox, and worse, Richard Burton ended up with Elizabeth Taylor, which cost him at least as much money
That's
Yeah.
true.
over the years. John Travolta wanted to make Battlefield Earth.
Oh my gosh.
Based on the L. Ron Hubbard movie.
they did.
He made it, and there's an example of be careful what you wish for.
Anything with dreadlocks, dread. That's the McCuddy rule.
Yeah.
If it's got dreadlocks in it, it's probably not going to be
It's
good.
a bad
except
sign.
for Bo Derek.
Who can forget the adventures of Pluto Nash with Eddie Murphy?
I don't remember that.
The producer.
That cost him an Oscar.
Yeah.
Did you know that? Because the same year that came out, he was up for.
Coming to America? or
Yeah,
something?
no,
A real movie.
No, the Dreamgirls, and he was supposed to win. And when he didn't, he stormed out. And everyone said that it was because the billboards for Pluto Nash were all over Hollywood, and
Yeah.
it reminded the voters,
Yeah.
Not so
he's
great.
not an Oscar guy.
Yeah, he's not. Well, he's also lost the studio $100 million.
Wow.
I think that hurt more than anything else.
100 million.
Cutthroat Island with Gina Davis proved that there were no pirate movies based in 1668 that are worth watching unless you have Errol Flynn
Oh,
or
yes.
Johnny Depp.
There you go. I'd like to see both of them together, actually.
Yeah.
Which they could do now with CGI.
Back to back.
Yeah.
I think one of our all-time favorites is 47 Ronin with Keanu Reeves.
I mean, these are so esoteric.
No, wait a minute. I don't know this either. Keanu Reeves is in 47.
It's in a samurai movie, but I think the Ronin is really a how much money the picture made, with each Ronin equal to a nickel. It was, but Keanu Reeves, who was he came back in the what's the trilogy that he's been involved with? The
Matrix.
Yeah,
I don't even know if it's a trilogy
he
anymore.
rescued his career with the Matrix. Maybe it's up to number 7, Matrix 6. Okay, let's go completely lowbrow.
Okay, lowbrow.
Right.
Lowbrow.
I've been waiting for this.
Thanksgiving has its own horror film.
It does?
It does, and I think that's a really important point to make.
Wait. Is the killer a turkey?
The movie's
No.
called Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
It's a 2007 feature.
I did not know
And it was followed by Thanksgiving 3.
Of course
so
it was.
It became the only movie to skip its own sequel.
I love this. Thanksgiving.
It's 5 college students are stalked by a demonic serial killing turkey.
Oh, wow. I can't wait to see this. This is right up my alley. You know how
How
dark
did I miss
am.
this?
And when it's ultimately killed, the surviving cast members actually cook and eat the title
Of
character.
course.
the
Of
title
course.
turkey.
Yeah.
But there's one special thing about this movie that nobody else would know this except me.
What?
There's a cast member of note is Chuck Lamb, who holds the record for playing dead bodies in the big and small screen. If you look up Chuck Lamb,
Oh, really?
his specialty
like
is
at the
playing
beginning
dead-
of every Law and Order, where
you
there's
go
always
into
a
Law and
body?
Order, there's a body of a white guy laying on the floor.
It's
That's
him.
Chuck Lamb.
That's
Oh, you're
him.
kidding.
He goes from big screen, small screen. He's got the record, and he's kind of typecast though.
I just wanna- I
he
just
never
wanna
gets the
point
speaking
out-
part because he's always dead.
I am not the only one who took a turn for the dark here. Tom Clavin also took a turn for the dark with the dead bodies.
Yes,
okay.
yes,
I
he
think
did.
ultimately, if we've got something to be thankful for, it's that there's no Thanksgiving 4.
Thanksgiving too.
Thanksgiving too.
Tom Clavin.
Thank you.
Clavin Raven about
Nicely
movies.
done, sir.
Thank you
So
very much. I appreciate
excited
it.
and hope that you come back again next month.
Yeah, to come make this a regular stop, will
Killer
you?
Santa.
Totally, please.
We could do some insanity Santa stuff.
I
Sure.
don't want to get too happy. I'm much better when I'm depressed.
You know what will
Especially
make us
Christmas.
all very happy now?
What?
We're going to close out the show with a great interview that you had with Dame.
Julie Andrews and my stepsister, Emma Walton-Hamilton, who talked about what they were thankful for. So take it away, guys. I'm thankful to be talking to Emma Walton-Hamilton and Dame Julie Andrews, the writing team, about what they're thankful for at this time of year. Feel free to jump in.
Oh, thanks, Bridge. Well, I'm thankful for you, first and foremost, being my beloved sister. I'm very, very thankful for family, always. And I think also just to say how very thankful I am to live in this most exquisite, extraordinary corner of the planet that we live in. It's such a beautiful, beautiful place filled with beautiful people, especially at this time of year. And I feel profoundly blessed to be part of this community.
Thank you, Em. Julie, you want to jump in?
Yeah, I thought about it. And in terms of preference, I end up being grateful for so many things. And finally, we have now put up on my kitchen wall a sign that I say all the time, which is, "Are we lucky or what?" So that's a painted sign that I have in my kitchen. And it really means that we are, as I said, Emma just said, I second completely. I'm grateful for so many things, and we are fortunate. Grateful for my family, for the fact that Emma and I work together, for the fact that we know you, Bridgie, and we're all in good accord with each other and all of that. So there's just so many things. I think my statement is literally what I have on my wall, which is, are we lucky or what? So I hope that satisfies some kind of an answer for you.
It does, and thank you so much for being part of our inaugural show. It means so much to have the two
Oh,
of you.
I'm glad, and we're flattered, aren't we?
We are.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you to both of you. Have a
Lots
lovely
of
day.
love.
Love you, Bridge. Take care, and good luck with the rest.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, darling. Bye.
Bye.
Well, wasn't that special?
Yes, it
You
was.
know everybody.
I don't mean to. It's just I'm lucky to be born into the family. And
Well, we're
life
lucky
that
to have you. I'm glad that
lucky
we
to
had a
be
chance
here.
to be with all of you too, listening and watching. And this is it. This is our first show.
It is. Take it or leave it. We hope you take it.
Happy Thanksgiving. I'll leave you the quote from Friends, which is, "It wouldn't be Thanksgiving without a little emotional scarring."
So true, and I hope I have provided that for our listeners and watchers today. Bill.
We'll be back with the jar full of name-dropping coins, and we'll see you next month on this after this inaugural version of what's the show called?
AirHamptons with Bridget and Bill.
Yeah, we'll work on that. I want the Bill part first. Play us out, Jim.
The proceeding has been brought to you in part by Patrick McLaughlin of Douglas Elliman Real Estate.